Well, hello there, friends. So today what we're going to be working on is some old Dodge truck seats here. I guess, well, old, depending on how old you are, I guess. But anyway, this here is I believe it's from a 2003 Dodge truck. And as you can see here, it's a little wore out. So it's for the customer's wife. And what he had decided to do was to go ahead and replace this whole bottom seat cushion. You can see here how the leather just shrunk up like crazy, like a shrunk up leather glove. Haha. Anyway, got shrunken leather here. So this is really like dark gray vinyl here with the leather. But what he chose to do is because he's in a rush and he has like a deadline to meet for this. So he told me just to go ahead and make it out of some black vinyl, some vinyl that I have on hand. So I'm going, I always give my customer what he wants. So here we go. So there really is a right seat and a left seat, or driver and passenger. So you can see the difference right here, how the seat curves in the back here on the inside. Same thing here, it's opposite on this end here. So what that means to me is this one here is in such a bad condition, and this one here is in such a better condition. I think this is the one I'm going to be using to make the patterns out of. Always try to take the best one first, because you don't want to duplicate something that's that bad. But I'm going to show you something that I'm going to be doing here because of the shrunken leather. This is going to be a trick, isn't it? Because you can see the shrinkage right here. This line should be like right here. Is where it should be. But it's not. So I'm going to put this one aside for a while. So we're going to be working on the other one. So what's the first thing that we always do? Well, we take our white china marker and we're going to mark up this seat here. So in the comments of the last video, a lot of people were telling me that they started buying these after they saw me using them. So the first thing that we always do is mark all the intersections, because we're going to be duplicating this seat cover right here. So we make our marks so that way later on when we go to put it back together again, we know where everything goes and how it goes back together. Let's see any more here. Okay. Oh, it does have this flap here. You're going to have to make a new flap. So this is technique number 2632. Now we got to discuss this issue of shrunken leather. So what we're going to do is we are going to draw a line on the natural corner edge of the seat. Actually, this is probably should be down here. So that's where the seam there should be. So it has what I call a freedom seam. This is not a French stitch. This is a freedom stitch. Now, thanks to some of my viewers. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All this here, we'll just go ahead and just keep it the same. We're gonna put this back in for him too. So I'll be cutting that apart. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this razor blade and I'm just going to go along that white line. That's going to be our new seam. What would you have done? Put in the comments what you would have done to make the new covers. I mean, would you have taken the shrinkage into account? Or would you have just duplicated the pattern that is already here of the shrunken leather? So I guess it could have gone either way. But just naturally, what would you have done? And now would be a great time to hit that like button. So please like. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to take this apart. There goes my phone. Oh, it's a customer. Hello, it's Richard. I'm glad I took that call. That was a good customer. So you don't want to scare your good customers away, I guess. All right. I'll just continue with this. Now this leather is hard. So this is a good example of our great debate. So here on my channel, there's always a great debate about putting a backing on the back of what they call a French stitch. So the experts on YouTube, okay, so they say that what I've been doing for 45 years is not a French stitch. That's what I've been calling it for 45 years. And I'm telling you, you look at this seat right here, and there's no black backing and there's no ribbon on the back of this. And so I guess this is not a French stitch. What is it? So if you're standing outside of this car and you're talking to somebody about the stitch on this seat, what would you call it? Would you call it a double top stitch? Or would you call it a French stitch? Or would you just avoid all the controversy and, like me, just call it a freedom stitch? So, but look at that. There's no ribbon there. Even if there was here, and there isn't here. So people, they say, well, you have to have a ribbon to add the strength. Okay, but this is a single stitch, right? Because they're saying it's only one stitch holding the two panels together. That's why you need the ribbon. But then I always tell them, well, does it mean that all stitches would require that black ribbon for extra strength? You know, just like this single stitch right here is no different from this single stitch that's right here. So there's no ribbon here. Of course, there wouldn't be. There never would be. But because people have seen one on like furniture and that kind of stuff, they're saying that it's absolutely necessary. But here we are, a major manufacturer like Dodge, that never put a rip black ribbon on the back of their stitch. So I have receipts. Okay, what it's got is it's got this really nasty stuff that's supposed to be for Velcro. So there's Velcro on the side here. There's no hog rings. So they use this one here, but it's like a serged Velcro on there. So we're going to have to be just putting regular Velcro when we go to put it back together again. Okay. guess this regular blade will work better than this. Okay, we'll just use the regular blade. So I'll just take my hook tool here and take off the seat hook. So it is seat hook. Some people will call it C hook. I guess because it's also shaped like the letter C. Just like some people, they'll say the words half-ass instead of half-fast, right? Do it all half-fast. But people, they call it something else. So anyway, some people, they also call it J hook because it's also shaped like the letter J or C. But anyway, take that apart. This one's so tight. I think it's because of that shrunk leather. I think what I'm going to do, it'll be easier just to take it apart here, I think. See if I can pop that thread. Okay. Now maybe take some pressure off of that. Okay, real world stuff here. Ouch. Ouch, that hurt. Okay. Let's see if it'll come apart now. Anything together here? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Oh, it's still hooked in the back, I think. Oh, yep, there it is. Right there. I wasn't done yet. Okay, let's try it now. What is it? good old technique number 71. So if you're paying attention to my videos, you'll know what number that was, what technique number. Leaving all the pieces together like this and not taking them apart, so that way you don't have to figure out the jigsaw puzzle later. Yep. Okay, I know. It's good old technique number 68, right? I knew you knew. So here's the roll of black vinyl that I keep on hand because, you know, black is the most common color. So I usually keep black on hand. So we have all these patterns here. So we're going to have to be making, because this is different. You can see the difference here now. It's clear. So we're going to have a left and a right. So when I go to make the patterns, I will be, we'll draw it out, flip it over, and then that way we're making the opposite. So what we'll do is we'll just start marking out patterns here, and we'll take the largest pieces first. So the largest pieces seems to be these sides right here. So let's go ahead and prepare this here. Okay, so this is going to be the rare occasions where you're going to see me using the white chalk. You usually see me use the white China marker for everything. But because we're going to be later on making a left and a right, this is an easier way of doing it. Put my marks in here. So here where I cut with the razor blade, I'm going to add in that 3/8 inch. Actually, you know, I'm going to go a little bit further because remember, this is shrunk up. I'm going to go a little bit more than that. I think about a good half inch. Let's do a good half inch because we got shrinkage going on there. Okay, that's our pattern right there. So I'm going to mark that because that way we don't have any duplicates. So this here, it's a padded vinyl. It's got a padding on the back. It's got some foam. So it looks like we're going to be putting in some 1/4 inch scrim. So I'm going to cut this on the outside of our chalk line right there. So when I do put it on the foam, on the scrim, I'll be sewing on top of that white line and then trimming off the excess. You'll see all that later. So to continue, this here is going to be, I'm going to call this seat here number 1. So I'm going to put a little number 1 right here. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to flip it over and make the pattern for the opposite seat, for the other seat. So look at that. This is an old trick from the old days before China markers. So actually, you know, what I used to use is my yardstick right here. This is going to be noisy, but I promise I'm going to lower it down when I edit. Okay, that is old school right there. Look at that. We got our opposite. I know some of you oldies out there talk about this kind of stuff in comments. You've been there. You paid your dues. Okay. Just make our marks that way. We will know exactly where everything is. I can see that well enough to when it comes to sew it up. So I'm going to call this one here number 2. So I'm going to separate number 1 and number 2. So I'm going to throw all the number 1s over there and all the number 2s over there. That way they don't get mixed up. So this is something I talked about with my customer, this carpet piece right here. So the reason that they use the carpet, for some reason, I guess, is probably because it's cheaper than vinyl, but it's not really necessary that it needs to be there. And the other thing that's not necessary, because if you really think about it, you have 1, 2, 3 different pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the chalk and we're going to mark off this pattern here and we're going to make it all just one piece. Okay, I'm also going to add in about 1/2 inch for that seam allowance for the shrinkage. Okay. So I marked here where this listing goes, so I can put it back. And I'm going to leave about a 1 inch overhang here because this gets folded under and sewed. That top stitch right there. Okay, that's our pattern for that one. That there's for number 1. So what are we going to do now? We're going to take this and we're going to flip it. Will it fit there? No, that's too big for that. We'll just put it right here. Right there. This will be our number 2. Number 1 over there. Number 2 over there. Okay, so now we got these other outer insert pieces. So we're going to add in our 1/2 inch on both sides. Leave it a little long in the back because I notice it's really shrunk up in the back too. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, actually I didn't give myself enough room there, did I? Okay, we'll go up here. Okay, shrinkage. You know, sometimes the pattern is not correct. What you got to do is you just have to imagine what it used to look like before the shrinkage. Sometimes people, they'll ask me in comments, they'll say, well, what do you do if the pattern's not right? Well, what you do is you imagine what it was like before. That's what you do. These are number ones. Now let's make our number twos. So there's a leg of the material right here that I think I can make my opposite of this. Yeah, look at that. That'll work. It'll fit right there. Okay, so that is our number two. I'll mark here number two. One goes over there. Two goes over there. See what I got here for this one. Okay. Got this one. You know, I try to use the whatever material I have so that way I don't end up with a bunch of waste. And of course, like I always say, what I always say is that vinyl direction is not important. I know some of you guys are going to hate me for saying that, and you're going to want to correct me in comments. But really, it doesn't matter. Because a lot of people say that vinyl has either a two-way or a four-way stretch, which it does. But for me, I've never paid attention to that. Never needed to. So I guess it's not necessary. Just saying. Okay, I think I'll be able to see that when I go to sew it up. Yeah. Okay, this is our number two. Number one goes over there. Number two goes where? Over here. So I can see that this piece here has an awful lot of shrinkage also. So we're going to add in a lot of extra material there to account for shrinkage and for the seam allowance. Okay. So I see there's an intersection mark right there. And right here. Okay, I guess we're good. Oh, there it is. I was chasing it and couldn't find it. So this is our number one. Take this, Flip it over, make our opposite. Yep. This will be our number 2. Okay. Number 1 goes over there. Number 2 goes over there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and make these pieces. Add in our 1/2 inch. Okay, I think that'll do it. This is our number. Okay, finish that. This is our number 1. Flip that over. Make this our number 2. This will be our number 1. This is our number 2. So there's a couple things I need to do here. I need to account for the shrinkage and I have to account for the skew. So I think what I am going to do is we'll do the shrinkage here. In the skew part, I'm going to, because it looks like it shrunk up this way. So I'm probably going to start like way back here, really. Put our marks. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a straight edge here and create that new line. Yeah, that should look a lot better. So what happens is people, they get into their car that has a leather interior. They'll go like straight from the swimming pool to the car, and then their leather gets wet, and then the leather gets soaked from somebody's wet clothes, and then when it dries up, the leather shrinks. Or I've even seen it where somebody might leave their window open or the convertible top open in a rainstorm. Seen that too. Okay, looks like I got everything cut out. All of my parts are marked, so I don't think I have anything left. So now we're going to go ahead and start foaming up all the pieces. Make sure it's nice and clean. So one person had a question in comments about spraying the glue. It's for a headliner material. So what he said is that the glue soaked through the material and he can figure it out. So what I know that he's probably doing is if you glue straight down onto the foam like this, you're going to get a concentration of glue, which is going to soak right through that foam all the way to the other side. So what I do is when I spray across the foam, so that way the glue is going horizontally and it's landing on the foam like this. You don't need a whole lot of glue. So I got a whole bunch of these to do. So I don't think I want to bore you guys to death. So I'm just going to get all these foamed up and come back later. Okay, with that, now we have both sets all foamed up and ready to sew. Okay, so we're going to just start sewing these up. So we're just going to just sew right on that white chalk line. I'm going to put my machine on number 7 here, so it's a longer stitch. One more. Right there. Okay. And now we're going to trim all off here. We're going to cut right next to the thread without actually cutting it. Okay, so we're going to just continue to do that to all these pieces. Oh, thread just shred on me. So put it back. Okay, let's try it again. So I realize that some of you have seen this before, but you know it's all about the repetition. It's the repetition that makes you better and better. That's why I don't mind showing you. I don't mind showing you all the repetition. If you see it enough times, then you'll probably catch on, right? Okay, I'm on my last two pieces here. It's more of the same. So I did it bad. You know, those of you that know me know that sometimes I work in cruise control and I kind of forget to show you what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm getting ready to put these pieces here together, and I just sewed these up. Sorry, you guys didn't get to see that, but you get to see the rest of this. So this still has to go back together. Okay, so let's go ahead and put all these seat insert pieces together. So I have my marks right there, right here and right here. So that's the intersection. That's where we're going to start. I'm going to make sure that that's where it belongs. So that's where we're going to start first. I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see this because it's black on black. Black thread, black scrim backed foam, and black vinyl. But I'm doing the best I can here. Okay, let's go do this side. Okay, we got all that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find our center right here for the seat insert. So what do? We're just going to fold it in half. Find our center. Mark it. I usually mark it on both the front and the back here. Also mark the back side so that way we can see what's on the back. Okay. Let's go ahead and match up our marks right here. Okay, let's go ahead and flip it over. Do the other side. Start from the center. If you notice, the first time I did that, I locked my stitch. But on the return, because it's already locked, it's not necessary to lock that second stitch. But some of you might argue with me about that, but that's okay. I just show the way I do it. So now we'll go ahead and put the skirt together. So we have the two sides in the center right here. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to mark center on this one here too. So we'll fold that in half. We'll mark that. Also mark the back side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys technique number 842. So what that is, okay, this edge here is going to be getting a freedom stitch. So what I do is right here, I hope you can see that. So right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut fairly close to that stitch, but don't get anywhere near it. But look what I'm doing. So I got rid of the bulk there, so that way when we do our freedom stitch, when it gets folded over, look at that. There's no bulk. So when we do our top stitch there, it's going to be nice and flat. Look at that. So we're also going to do the same thing to our insert side here. You guys are going to love that one. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put the skirt and the insert here back together. So what I do is I take our marks, our center line marks here, match those up. So because we're going to be doing a French stitch on this edge here, I'm going to want to make sure I have plenty of seam allowance because we need to fold over this edge right here. So normally I go about 3/8 of an inch or so, but I think in this case I'm going to make it a little bit wider, maybe a 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm going to set my machine to number 5 right here, 5 stitch. It's a little bit smaller. Okay, now we got a corner here. We got to turn it. Try to make a nice smooth turn. So we have a nice round corner. There we go. Okay, we're going to flip it around. Do the other side. Start the needle on top of the other stitch. So one thing I forgot to do, I actually had to take this back apart again, right here. This section here takes a binding on the edge because the stitching actually stops right there. So let's go ahead and get that done. So to do that, I'm just gonna cut a strip of vinyl right there. That's what I'm gonna use. So this on here is a binding for that edge. So I'm going to take that and fold it under. And when I stitch, I'm going to stitch right along the last stitch. That way you don't really see it. Not that it really matters, I guess, does it? This is buried in the back between the two cushions. Nobody will ever see it, right? But that's how we roll. Okay, now I can go ahead, put this stitch back. Okay, I think all is right with the world now. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. So it also gets a binding right here. So let's see if this is going to be enough. I'll get a bigger piece. Bind this one. Same type of binding. So this binding style is what I use when I bind Ferrari carpets. That's the edge that I use. So next time you do a Ferrari carpet, you can do the same. Okay, because this has that turn right there, we need some kind of a relief cut. So I will just put a few relief cuts. That way this material can fold under and spread. Okay. Yep, just like that. So now I'm going to try to do a freedom stitch here. Put it back on number 7. And try to do this here in a way. I try to put the camera where you can see what I'm doing without seeing the back of my head. Whenever you stop, try to keep the needle down in there. That way everything doesn't move on you by accident. Gonna spread the bottom here for our freedom stitch. If you guys haven't caught on by now, this is now a freedom stitch. So this is where it comes in, where we took that bulk out. Look how nice that lays down, nice and flat. This is our corner. Okay, now we got to do the other side. Focus. Stay focused. for the listing of the Velcro that they used to have Velcro, different type of Velcro. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a 1-inch wide female side Velcro here. That's what we're going to be putting on this. So I'll go ahead and sew that on. So what we got to do is take the Velcro. What I like to do is just fold it in half like this and crease it. That'll make it a lot easier to sew on. See, it's already holding its shape. Okay. Do the second one the same way. Got one more. Okay, now I'll just put the rear skirt on. This goes back here. So this is what I was talking about. We get rid of the bulk. Look at that, how nice and flat that is in there. You see over here is an area where I didn't do that. You can see the difference. So right here, I didn't cut out the bulk. And look at that. It looks a little bit messier, doesn't it? On the front side, looks a little bit thicker. So you see that little bump right there? Where this one here, that's a good example. Right there, it's nice and flat. So I'm curious, I want to see how well we did. Let's see how it fits. You know, you never know how well something's gonna look until you're almost done. So it'd be terrible to have done all this work and not have something look right. So look at that. Not too bad. Oh yeah, it's fitting pretty good. Look at that. No shrinkage. No shrinkage. We brought it back. That's what it's supposed to look like. Now we're going to take off all the old listings that we're going to reuse. Okay, let's get this one back on. This one goes here, that one goes there. Actually, this one. Okay, now we'll put the back skirt listing here together. See, I guess this probably goes like that. Okay. Very strange. Okay, we'll put these last couple parts on there. So one thing I forgot about was this strange little side skirt that goes here. I just made it up real quick. Let's see. All right, I think that's it. I don't think there's any more to do to this. Now for the moment of truth. Did I do it right? Did I do everything right? You know, I'll have my doubts all the way up until the time that it's on. Because sometimes you just never know. So the Velcro go right there. Also, right there. Also, right there. So far, so good. All right. See what we got here. Got it. Okay. Let's see if we can get the plastic parts on. Let's see. I guess it goes that way. Yep. It's a big old screw. Okay. Now it's in. Now it's time for the good old heat gun. The heat gun is our friend, right? The heat gun is not our enemy. So the only thing I don't like about these seats is there's no Velcro in these corners here. So there's nothing really to hold these corners down. Ooh, that's hot. Always keep that heat gun moving. You don't want to burn your vinyl. So people ask me in comments about using a steamer on vinyl. So a steamer, I guess, might work if you had the time, but it would take a very, very long time to get it hot enough because it cools down so fast. Where a heat gun will heat it up right away. You can see a lot of those wrinkles came out, but I still have something right here. I'll keep on working on that a little bit. I'll clean off our white china marks. Don't need those anymore. But you know now, if you didn't know before, why they were there. Here is the before. And here's the after. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Why don't you do us both a favor and binge watch all of my videos? And until next time, we'll see ya. If you like this video, you'll really like the next one.